Joining me today to tell you that video shyness is not a life sentence is an academic who lectures using Facebook Live. And he went from audio podcasts to video live streams. This is the Confident Video Presenter, where I talk to wonderfully imperfect humans about how they overcame their fear of video. My name's Julian Mather. I'm your host and fellow student, and I too, yes indeed, he was once terrified of being on video. And I want you to know that you're not alone, and struggling to show up on video is completely normal, and that there is a simple path to becoming the confident video presenter that you always wanted to be. And if you can't wait to start, if that excites you so much, you can start right now at the Confident Video Presenter Academy. And where would you find that? At www.confidentvideopresenter.com. And now let's meet our guest. Hello,
hey,
Ross
Julian.
Monahan.
How are you?
I'm really well. Listen, why don't we kick this off? It's always good to hear it from you. So what do you do? Where do you do it? Who do you help and why?
So I am now an academic. I teach at Deakin University, teach research. And I've been doing that for a couple of decades now. And look, I'm a professional communicator. I am the thought leadership lead for IABC APAC's, the Asia Pacific board. And now I'm doing a lot of work in the AI space because, well, I think, we all will be soon. But for me, in that AI space, I see a lot of parallels between my work helping government and business when social media and mobile phones came in. And talking about mobile phones, my past life, I was the CEO of the Mobile Phone Industry Association. And before that, I was at Optus and BHP doing a range of professional communication roles. And well and truly before that, back in the dark ages, before power and electricity and cars, I was a journalist down at the Warrnambool Standard, working on manual typewriters back then. So I like the change in technology, and I have seen such an amazing change in video technology. So I'm really pleased to be here and talk about my journey and how I'm using it.
So not only have you seen the change in technology, Ross, you've also seen that change in personal development within yourself, because you started off as a journalist, as you said, clacking away at a keyboard, which means you're hiding behind your words. And here you are now showing up, which is really the journey that I'm interested in, because it doesn't matter what age we are or what stage of our career, whether you're a raw beginner or you're at CEO level. One thing I know is video does not discriminate, and the fear of video settles into everybody at every level. So tell us what you're doing now with video, and then we'll work backwards and see how you got there.
Yeah, look, there's a range of things I do at Deakin University for my lectures. Of course, we do the Zoom online sessions. I mean, everyone is very, very familiar with that. I remember using Zoom 4 or 5 years ago when it first came out, and my fellow colleagues are going, I'm not sure whether we should be using this. But when the pandemic hit, I'd already been using it for a couple of years, and I was able to share my thoughts and tips and tricks on how to use that platform. So when the pandemic hit, it really didn't make my teaching all that different. Certainly there was no face-to-face, of course. But speaking of that, of course, we couldn't do lectures anymore, which is a big challenge. And for anyone who's gone to university, you'll know that lectures and tutorials are not always set at the most convenient times. And in 2020, one of my classes, I had a lecture. I think it was Monday morning at about 8 a.m. Now, I don't know about you, Julian, but 8 a.m. on a Monday morning, I'm not always video ready. Are you?
Yeah, well, strangely enough, I am, because because it frustrated me so much to not to go, oh, I got video, and it's so long in the process of setting up and getting mentally ready that I literally have everything push button ready. It takes me roughly 5 minutes, and most of it, this is what I have to do, right? And then, I mean, and I switch on, everything's on one light, and I just get going. So, I mean, you asked me the question, Ross, and I'm giving you the answer.
But
I
imagine
actually am video ready.
imagine
Mentally, I know it's a little slow, but I can get up and going.
Imagine though my teenage or early in their 20s students on a Monday morning, 8 o'clock. I don't know what you were doing at university, but I probably wasn't up and ready. So doing a Zoom, I thought, well, no one's going to really want to get on camera there and interact at 8 a.m. And I had this idea because I'd been using Facebook and, MySpace way back in the day. And I thought, why don't I do Facebook Lives? Because that gives me, solves a few problems for me. One, if I do a Facebook Live, students don't actually have to turn on their camera. Facebook Live is also pretty good on mobile devices. Facebook Live automatically records your sessions. The other great thing about Facebook Live is that if you join 5 minutes late, so if students joined the lecture at 8:05, they could start it from the start, which you can't do in Zoom, of course. And the other bonus is that I was able to invite guests from around the globe to my Facebook Live, so students could not only hear my thoughts on particular issues, I was able to get alumni to join me. I was able to get really amazing people. I mean, I remember one was...
Now, Ross, I'm going to get you to hold that thought for one moment.
Yeah.
Your audio is breaking up quite badly now. So this is this is great for people if you're watching and you're worried about what happens with the technology. You just roll with it. So Ross, I'm going to ask you to sign out and sign in again, and I'll just hold the fort here, and we'll see you back.
Is this better now, though?
Oh, that's better. So
Yeah.
the other tip is tap your computer like that.
Actually, I've just changed the microphone, so that's what. Again, look, I think learning from these mistakes, because this has happened before.
Now, Ross, I'm going to stop you there again. Just go back, mate. It's now it's way out of sync. And this is,
right.
Yeah, this is and so if you are watching and if something goes wrong, just own it. Don't panic about it. The world will keep turning. All right. So let's give this another go, Ross.
Am I back with you now?
Yeah. Look, you're out of sync a bit, but let's just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see my mouth is moving at a different pace to my to my face at the moment. It's normally my brain and my mouth that is out of sync. But yeah, look, so I was able to invite some really amazing guests to my Facebook Lives. I reached out to somebody who did I saw on a LinkedIn learning module, Leslie Overhaven, who was talking about plain English, and I just emailed her and she said, yeah, I'm happy to join you. So I got some really amazing experts from around the world to come in and join my class, and students were able to ask questions of those. So it was a fantastic experience. So that Facebook Live was great. I use Loom to respond to student questions. I know, in fact, I think I did learn about Loom from you, Julian, which is a great service. It allows you to quickly record video responses. It's quick, it's easy, and it feels really personal to people who are getting it. I get such good feedback on that. So those Zoom seminar sessions, I do interviews, record them on video with experts if they're not available at the time of my seminars or my lectures, and then I can reproduce those in class or show students in class. So there's a range of ways that I'm using video. It's all about exploring the new technology, learning how it works, learning how sometimes it doesn't work, and then just going with the flow and thinking about new and innovative ways to actually use this technology to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
So you've always been. So what's your general personality type? Are you an outgoing, gregarious type? Are you an introvert? Where do you fit on that range?
Yeah, look, I'm probably more introverted. It doesn't seem like that because when I'm on video, when I'm speaking, I I'm fairly animated. But I think one of the things that really helped me with video was public speaking. And when I was at high school, I learned how to public speak. I was involved in the Plain English speaking competition. And one of the things we did there, which was, with hindsight, was great, was learned how to do impromptu speaking. That was fantastic. You know, being given a topic at the drop of a hat and say, right, you've got 1 minute to come up with a 5-minute presentation on this topic, and learning how to do that has really helped me and given me the confidence to know that, you know, when I'm on video, I will know what to say. There's not going to be, you know, moments of where I pause or I don't know what to say. Knowing what you're talking about is really important. Thinking consciously about how you can structure those sentences, how you can use inflection, all of those things from face to face are really valuable when you're doing video work as well. Along the way, when I was at BHP, I also did some TV work as well, and that was good because I got a little bit of coaching there. But it's a different ballgame when you're doing it yourself. When you're not the presenter, you're the producer, you're the sound engineer, you're the tech person, you're the expert. Yeah, look, it's a whole different ballgame online.
Yeah. So I was the reason I asked you that. So let me just go back a bit there. I mean, when I was at high school, there was no way in the world I would have been on any program like that. I mean, I was hiding down the back corner, shrunk in a little ball. But I was also like that in my 20s and into my 30s and into my 40s. It was only really late 40s and 50s that I started to go, right, I want to make a change and get out of there. So I was watching some videos. We're going to have a look at a video you sent, an early video of you. I quickly watched it, and what struck me before was the excessive amount of energy that was being put into that presentation. So I'd just like to we'll have a look, and we can both talk about it. Let's just have a look
and
here.
have a laugh. Yeah.
Hello everyone. For those of you that didn't make it to the lecture last week, I'm Ross Monaghan. I'm the lecturer for ALR 103 at the Burwood campus. So welcome to the unit. I thought I'd do something a little bit different this semester. It's the first time I've given a video introduction. Just wanted to test out YouTube and test out my fancy new webcam that Deacon bought me. So here we go. It's a little bit daggy, this video, but bear with me. Have a bit of a laugh, but not too much, please. Hopefully by now you've made it onto DSO. Well, in fact, you would have because you've seen this video. And one thing that you should...
Okay, it's the next video. Hang on, we got two here.
So
here we go. This
is
is one.
Is a series of video blogs, and what I thought I might try is 1 minute with Ross. So that's 1 minute you've got with me 5 times this week. Let's see how I do. Okay, so I wasted 12 seconds on the introduction. So now I've really only got 48 seconds.
So yeah, no, it's great. I mean, how long ago were these videos?
That was 2007.
All right, so yeah, good 15 years ago. You know, that's
which was just after YouTube had started up. And looking back at these now, I mean, I've kind of done a TikTok style. I mean, I didn't have the technology and the green screen behind me. But even back then, at the start of this, I thought, well, you know, 15-minute video is not really going to cut it for my undergraduate students. I want something short, sharp, and that excessive energy, to get attention from people, because if you just sit there like this talking in a monotone on video, it can be a bit boring, right?
So were you what were can you remember the feelings that were going through, or the thoughts that were going through your head? Was, how is this going to be received? Am I going to be this, like, sad older lecturer? How's this going to be perceived by 18, 19, 20 year olds?
Yeah, look, I probably didn't think too much about it. I mean, my philosophy on doing things is just get out there and do it. Learn from your mistakes. I mean, there's no such thing as, well, there can be a bad mistake, but if you make, small errors, or the first video is not all that good, as these aren't, your next ones are going to be a little bit better, and you're going to work on it. You can't go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. So start using the technology in small ways, and then learn and learn how to analyze what you do, get feedback from people, listen to the people that are watching it or are listening to your audio material, and try and incorporate that into what you do.
So just switch your microphone over back and forth again, will you, Ross?
Sure. Let's go back to let's try microphones here. Is that any better?
I can hear you. That's good. It was starting to crackle
Fantastic.
before, but we're still going. We're still here, and that's the main thing. It's and also, I mean, it's great to look at this image of you on the left. I mean, in the shadows there, and then you've got this image where you're popping out of your screen, comparatively. But here was the thing: was how was this? Did this video work for you?
It did, because it taught me how I can use video. So some things are going to work, some things are not going to work. These short 1-minute videos got me thinking about other innovative ways to do audio and video work, and also importantly, I think I use them as a way to think about current topics. So this one that's on the screen now was about social media and politicians on MySpace back in the day. Um, and I remember about the time I did this, I chaired the Government Relations Summit that year, and I did a session on politicians and social media. And there were different breakout sessions, and I think about 6 people came to my session because they thought, politicians on social media, that'll never happen. So thinking about these things and using the technology to help me think about things was important to me, just as writing is a really powerful way to help you think. Video can be a great way to help you think and share ideas as well.
So video and writing to me are like a knife and a fork. I mean, it's like arguing which one is better. Well, they both have utility, but use them together, and they can literally change the world. No, the point I was trying to get to here before was that this video, though technically not perfect, still served the purpose to get the message across to the students. So it still worked, was my point.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, back then, I mean, the webcam and the video technology was a little bit different to what it is now. So there were no iPhones. I mean, it was 2007, so that was like 5, 6, 7 years before there was even an iPhone around. Webcams were just probably 720p, if that. So the resolution wasn't all that good, and because it was just new technology, I didn't have, the lighting and the setup. Some of these shorter videos that I actually did them from cafes as well with my laptop as well. So exploring how we could use this technology, and of course, as technology developed, I was able to think about the best ways to use it because I'd already trialed it earlier, which, thinking about things like AI, which is what I'm out there doing, trying to get people to, don't ignore artificial intelligence now, start to use it in small, simple ways, because the ways you'll be using it now will help you in the future as well. And I think, in terms of being that confident video presenter that you're great at getting people to be, take those small steps, learn from those, and share your ideas. I mean, it can be really powerful.
Yeah, terrific. What's it like in academia now? Is there resistance to video still? Where are you seen as someone who's sort of pushing new ideas and new boundaries? What's the lay of the land?
Yeah, look, it's challenging because I have found a lot of resistance um, to my students actually getting on video. Now, that might surprise a lot of people watching this, particularly, those, who aren't teenagers. You might think that they're all over it. If you had a Zoom seminar, all the students would turn on their web cameras and would want to get involved. That's absolutely not the case. Most of my students, and I'm talking, 80% plus, when they get on a Zoom session, won't turn on their cameras. It's hard to get them to interact. So one of my challenges is, how can I use video technology to get my messages across, but also to get engagement from students as well. Thinking about how students are actually going to watch my presentations, they're not going to be sitting down at a PC at their desk. They're probably, best case scenario would they'd be on a laptop, maybe on the sofa, but they might be on a train or a tram here in Melbourne, watching it on their mobile phone. So how can I present information in ways that is going to be accessible for students to do that? So one of the things I've done more recently is, instead of doing a 45 or 50-minute lecture, which just, is me talking and with some PowerPoint slides in the background, I'm now actually using Canva and embedding videos into that Canva presentation and sharing those. So instead of me talking being the main part of the screen and having, a little PowerPoint presentation up the back here, it's actually the PowerPoint presentation with a little bit of me at the top. So you can click it and I will explain more in that slide. And then you can move on to the next slide. Maybe your tram has arrived at your destination and then you're going and you're at a cafe, then you can look at the next slide. So continually improving, trialing new things. One thing I found is there's not going to be one solution that everyone loves. So in academia, you asked, how am I using this? I'm using it in different ways. Some people will like what I'm doing, some people won't. So that's another challenge as well, understanding that people use it in different ways, and thinking about how you can give people the flexibility to see you and get the information in those different ways.
How are you getting peers coming to you and asking, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Can you show me how to do this?
Yeah, look, quite regularly. I talk a lot. I'm invited to a lot of sessions on thought leadership, and not so much about video, but I guess the interaction and how you can use video as part of a broader communication strategy. Yeah, so look, there's a lot of interest in it, but you don't even have to come to me. I think a lot of the technology now is so popular because it's easy to use. There's a lot of it out there, but most of it is pretty easy to use. And my philosophy is, if it's not easy to use, I'm going to move on to something pretty quickly as well. So I would encourage people to, reach out, and people like you and I and anyone on these platforms are always really willing to share. But there's also this great video platform called YouTube. Some of your viewers might have heard of it before. There's lots of how-to videos on there. It really is the future, I think, changing from text search YouTube is now, I think, the second biggest search engine. So, use the power of that to help learn how to use this technology.
Well, it's actually even gone on from there. So it's gone on from text search. It's now really the future is voice search. And so understanding voice search means you have to understand the questions. What other questions are they going to be asked? So, that's really good for anyone who wants to show up and expand their thought leadership. And I don't like using that word, but I don't know a better word to use, but that within their industry or their niches to understand the questions that are being asked. It's going to lift your profile. So, Ross, if people want to catch up with you and find you, where can they find you?
Look, the easiest way is here on LinkedIn. So you can just go to search me on LinkedIn, Ross Monahan Deacon, or you can go to rossmonahan.live/LinkedIn. It'll take you directly to my LinkedIn account. You can follow me there, talk about a whole range of professional communication issues, including this, amazing world of artificial intelligence.
Brilliant. Hey, Ross, thanks heaps. Just sit there tight. I'm going to take us out, and I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right. So if you've got something to say, but you're struggling to show up on video and say it, if you want to better communicate your business, your vision, your mission, then I invite you to watch my on-demand free video masterclass. And in it, I show you exactly how I use video to win trust, authority, and clients, and how it has become wonderfully easy. Seriously, it's just getting easier for you to do it too. And you can find that at www.confidentvideopresenter.com. And with that, goodbye.